is being recorded both on the phone call version and the webinar version. You can now get us both ways. Let me make sure we got our sound turned off here. Honey. Okay, that's fixed our sound. You know, technology, it is a wonderful thing, but it is not foolproof. Even our bodies, as magical as they are, it's not foolproof. It's not going to be absolute every single time, which is one reason why we have the training information and the tutorials that we are working on. You know, we're up to 30 videos that we've created so far, as I promised in our training video. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful package of data. By the end of this series, we'll have 150 videos. Now, some of you might go, holy cow, well, I don't know if I want to watch that many videos. And I want you to understand the premise and the idea of what these videos are designed to do. And the idea is that the videos will be very short because we don't have very long attention spans. We have even less when we're reading, but a little bit longer when it's an engaging video. But the videos are designed to be less than 5 minutes long per topic. And so we'll have a lot more videos and a lot of data. Now, some of the data has to be dispensed over a longer period of time than 5 minutes. And so there'll be a video part 1, part 2, part 3. As it pertains to whatever topic it is. That's designed so that you will keep your attention, but also so that when you send it out to friends, prospects, business partners, that it will keep their attention. It'll be nothing but the meat of the matter. And so we're very excited about that. These videos will be in a couple of different classifications. One will be for educational purposes for the protocol, what you should and should not be doing on specific topics. How many topics could we possibly be going over, right? Well, when you're talking about metabolic syndrome, you're talking about literally hundreds of topics. It deals with our metabolic function. Nothing is more complex in our body than our metabolic function. It affects nearly every single biochemistry action that's going on in your body, and so we've got a lot of topics to go over, and so you'll never ever get bored with the content in our training university. We'll also have a series of videos going over how to work the business, how to build your business. This is going to be like a college course, Business 101, how to open up and run a business. It's going to be very detailed, and so that will be there for you as well. I wanted to go over some interesting information. We have been in business for 9 years. We have been servicing, not under our 3believe brand, and under another name, and we've been servicing doctors and clinics and hospitals around the country, dealing with tens of thousands of patients, and doing the same types of things that you've been experiencing, getting people off their medications, giving them a lease on a new life, and for many, a better quality of life than they've ever experienced. And what a lot of people can rightfully say, a miracle. And I will tell you that the medical establishment and working in that is not an easy road to hoe, so to speak. It's not as easy as it sounds. There's a lot of old traditions, old mentalities. You know, when a doctor, an MD, goes to college and learns to be a physician, did you know that they have 1 credit hour that goes into nutrition? It doesn't mean that doctors are dumb by any means. They're great in their profession. They know so many things. I can't imagine all the me having to know all the different applications of medicine and the biochemistry that's going on in the body. But one thing that they are not experts in, and they admit it, they're the first ones, is nutrition. They don't they haven't studied it. Doesn't mean they can't. They just don't, because it's not in the scope of their practice. In Western medicine, we deal with a crisis after it's already happened. Doctors have not been trained to deal with how to prevent the crisis from happening in the first place. That's not Western medicine. That's more Eastern medicine philosophy. Let's install a philosophy to never have us get sick, rather than what do we do if we have a calamity. And that's Western medicine. So it's a little more difficult going into these old mindsets. We've been successful at it, but I'm excited to tell you something that's been happening. We've been working with and have for many years, tried to get into corporate wellness. Now, let me tell you what corporate wellness is. Corporate wellness is where, if you and I started a business and we're very successful, and we have hundreds or thousands of employees, one of the things that we want to do is we want to make help our employees be healthy. Now, let's just say that you and I are kind of like Bob and Cratchit in the old Christmas Carol, where Scrooge and his partner, Cratchit, were nothing but money grubbers. They didn't care about the human element. And let's pretend that you and I were that way when we started our business. We didn't care about what people felt like. We just wanted them to do their job. And so in that scope, all we care about when we implement a corporate wellness is how to make you a better employee. Now, I'm not saying that corporate America is that way, but when you're just counting dollars and cents, they have to be able to legitimize any expense in the business. It's just the proper thing to do. So when you're doing that, you have a corporate wellness program. Corporate wellness program is designed only to provide a better working employee for the corporation. They want them more efficient. We want you at work. We don't want you sick. And when you're here, we want you producing your workload at a more and higher efficient manner, so we can create greater profits. And so in doing that, we've run into a little bit of a problem. In corporate America, our people are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. Now, how sick are we getting? You've heard me talk about our national reality of our level of health. 78, according to the World Health Organization, 78.8% of Americans are overweight. 35% plus are obese. Now, what does obese mean? That means over 30 pounds over your ideal weight. Morbidly obese means over 100 pounds over your ideal weight. And that number is growing at the CDC's number of epidemic levels. It's growing so fast that it's spreading like a disease. But it's not just weight. So that means that 78% of our workers force, of our employees, are overweight. Well, why is that such a problem? Because it also means that 34% of our employees have high blood pressure, because that's what America's averages are. And 31% have high cholesterol. And that's bad for us, because that means more of our employees have heart attacks and strokes, and they don't feel so good. They have 12% of Americans and our employee force are diabetic. That means that they don't feel so well, and that means we have higher absenteeism. That means that they get sick more often and they don't come into work. Now, when you and I don't have a worker that comes in, we can't just fire them on the spot, because it costs us a lot of money to retrain that person. We want to give them time, see if they're going to come back to work. Well, while they're not working, Billy over here is not on the assembly line working. Someone's got to fill in for Billy's workload. That means that it puts more stress on the other employees, or we don't put out as much product that work day or that work week, however long that Billy is out of work. You see, it starts to trickle down to meaning that when our employees are not healthy, it costs us profits. And so that's why corporate America is very interested in corporate wellness programs. Now, a corporate wellness program is, if any of you have been involved in one, is they'll come around once or twice a year and they'll do health fairs. And the health fairs, they'll take your blood. What they're doing is they want to get a baseline of how healthy their employees are and start to segregate them. They don't do it by prejudice means. They just go on, what is our problem? How unhealthy or how healthy is our workforce? And in the back room, people are crunching numbers. They don't know who it is. They don't know Billy and Bob and Sally's names, but they just see the data. And what they see is they take those health data, the blood pressure and the cholesterol and the diabetes, those that smoke, those that are absent, those that don't show up to work, how many days a year that they're not there, how many times they come to work late, and they tally that number up and they punch it into their insurance claims, how many of their people are on medications and how much that's costing, and then they spit out a data number, and the insurance company says, this is why we charge you the insurance premium that we do, because your employees are this level of health. The company down the street, they have a higher level of health because they do better at their corporate wellness program, and so we charge them a lower premium. That's the reality of the real world. And so businesses all over America are looking how they can make their employees healthier without being Gestapo style and watching every bite that goes in their mouth and every foot that they walk to make sure that it's a healthy one. Well, things have gotten so bad that some things have changed around here in our medical division, the one that created this formula. You see, when we've gone into corporate wellness companies, it's been a bit of a hard sell for them to adopt our philosophy. And the reason why is because they haven't wanted to pay for our program for all their employees. They just can't justify it, or they don't think they can justify it because it costs them so much. Well, let me give you something that's happening lately. Because of the Obama plan, things have kind of changed for employers. It's cost them a lot of money to be able to put this in. And we have a company in Wisconsin, a big steel maker. They have 30,000 employees. Their health insurance policy every year is $72 million. Wow. And the president of the company called up an associate of mine that's working with us in that division, our medical division, and said, our premium's going to go up to $92 million a year, and we can't afford it. We don't have the money for it. We can't just fork out another $20 million. And so you got to help us find a way to make our people healthier. And so for the first time ever, things are happening where these companies are taking our plan and actually implementing it into their employee base. And some of these companies are willing to pay for the cost of it because in the end it saves them money. It makes their employees happier. It makes them think smarter, faster, more clear. They're more productive during the day. They get more widgets done. They show up to work more often. They call in to work less. They have less arguments with management. The numbers just keep on coming back in of how much healthier their employees are, and that add profits to their bottom line. I've never seen this in healthcare for corporate wellness companies where they are so desperate and they're looking for a silver bullet. They have programs. They have programs that tell them how to be healthy. You've heard the programs. You as a consumer, you've heard you got to eat this many vegetables and you got to eat this much water or drink this much water. You got to limit this. And you got to have more of that. You got to go out and you got to walk 8 to 10,000 steps a day, and life will be better. And many of you have been doing that with not a lot of success. The challenge is that it's not enough for us just to eat our servings of fruits and vegetables a day, because much of our fruits and vegetables are depleted in the nutrients that we need. We have to force your body into a ketogenic state, which then gives you a miracle formula to do the things that have happened to what you've heard on this webinar and others like it, the change that happens in our life. It's not by accident. that these things happen. That's what these corporate wellness companies need. And they're finally seeing that this is a solution for them. This is exciting times. And you have the exact same formula through 3believe. What a wonderful, wonderful time that we live in. What types of things will these employers expect? The same types of things that you can expect. I'm going to read a testimony that I got from Nick just a couple of hours before this presentation, this webinar tonight. So if you'll allow me, let me read it. Hello, Jason and the 3B family. Here is my success story after being on the 3believe program for 45 days. The main reason I started this program was I wanted to improve my health. I knew that my nutrition was nowhere near where I wanted to be, and I was looking for a highly nutritious whole food based program that could help me reach my health and weight loss goals. Now I know that I found it with the 3believe program. I'm also an entrepreneur, so I appreciate that there is a way for me to share this with people I care about in order to improve their health and financial situation too. Financially, the program was a little tough at first. That's interesting. I compare it to doing 2 to 3 of your entire month's shopping in one go. Oh, that's why. So there is a larger than normal dollar amount to outlay initially. So he did 2 or 3 months right up front. Now, that would be tough for anybody. And lost my place here. Here we go. But once I made that commitment and got started, I found that I began to save money. At less than $4 per meal per replacement shake, that's actually $3.57 per meal, this program is incredibly affordable. And with the equivalent of 32 pounds of nutrition in each shake, plus the organic-based omega 369 oil, I can't find a better program anywhere. I'm going to interject. If you took, and he's right, in every single shake that you drink, that is equivalent nutritionally to eating 32 pounds of food, of meat and cheese and vegetables and fruit and fiber. You would have to go out, and if you bought that much nutrition that you get in one shake, it would cost you over $100. So $100 of food, which you couldn't eat anyway because it weighed 32 pounds, or a $3.57 shake that comes in 32 ounces. Wow, that's a bargain. He continues. I started the program in February 2017, and these are my results from April 2017 after 45 days. He did a second blood test. So he did blood test before he started, then he did another blood test to get the numbers I'm going to read to you here. His glucose numbers down 42%. 42%, no medication. It was all natural. Dropped from 133 to 94. That's amazing. Cholesterol down 21%. Triglycerides down 11%. His LDLs down 32%. His weight loss was down 16.5 pounds. Let's see what else. His BMI improved. His fat percentage improved. His muscle percentage went up. How did he know these numbers? Really interesting. His age, his estimated health age went down from 76 to 70 years old. That's a 9% drop. He got younger medically based on his results. His visceral fat, that's the fat around your organs, that's the fat that'll kill you, around your heart and your liver and your lungs. That was down 12%. He lost 9.5 inches on 6 body measurements, and he continues. Apart from the above statistics, the way I feel has changed markedly. I now have great energy the entire day, whereas before I would have energy dips during the day. My mental clarity and focus has improved tremendously, and as a result, I'm more efficient at work, and I can get more done. Boy, you know how many employers want their employees to feel like this? Their costs would drop and their efficiencies would skyrocket. The quality of my sleep has improved. What I'm eating is changed, and I gladly eat salads and vegetables, which I carefully avoided before. Sugar was a big problem for me before, but not anymore. I now want to move my body around, which is great because I never wanted to exercise much before the program. So that is another great improvement. Good job, Nick. Jason, thank you so much for insisting that we obtain a body measurement scale and do the blood test at the start of the program. Nick, I'm so glad you mentioned that. I'm going to read that again. Thank you so much for insisting that we obtain the body measurement scale and do the blood testing at the start of the program. But by doing this, we have the conclusive evidence of what this nutritional program does for one's body. Thank you so very much for creating and then making this wonderful program available for all of us. Jason, and what you do for us is very appreciated, more than words can express. My gratitude is all to you. This inspires me. You uplift many hundreds of people and thousands to come. Thank you very much. Good job. You know, the real result is people like Nick actually applying the technology and the benefits that we have. It wouldn't do any good for us to have this science, make these wonderful formulas if no one implemented them in their body. You can always find excuses. There's always an excuse. I don't have the time. He didn't think he had the money up front. He didn't realize how much it saved him until after he already made the commitment. Trust us. It's going to save you money. You're going to feel better. You're going to avoid costly medical expenses and medication. There are so many reasons of why we may insist, or I insist on certain things. Now, what Nick was talking about is when you get started, and I'm gonna lovingly chastise. I'm bringing all that fall into this category, and I'm bringing you in. I'm giving you a big cyber hug. Okay, I'm loving you through this. When you start someone on the protocol, start them on phase 1 and make sure they get the starter kit. Now, the starter kit, what's different in the starter kit is this. We get you set up with a scale. How did Nick be able to get these numbers if he didn't have a special scale? Now, this isn't a scale you get down at Target that just tells you your body weight. This is a special scale that tells him his metabolic body age. It tells him his hydration. It tells him his muscle mass. It tells them his visceral fat. It tells them how much or what these numbers are so that he could get these numbers. In the kit, we give you these little pods where you drop in your own blood and then you send it into the lab and it tells you all what these cholesterol and glucose numbers were. What a marvelous thing that he did and others like you do when you take this advice of those of us that have been down this path before you. You see, if you have that scale, then it's not just hearsay. It's not just, oh, I just lost some weight. Well, everybody's lost weight. I keep telling people it doesn't matter what you weigh. It matters why you weigh what you weigh. Why do you weigh 200 pounds? Is it because half of you is fat? Or is it because 15%, 20% of you is fat? You see, it matters why you weigh what you do. When I was a financial planner years ago, we were taught it doesn't matter if you make $200,000 a year, especially if you're spending $210,000 a year. What matters is how much you save based on what you make. The same is true here with what you weigh. And so when I ask you to spend the extra $95 and get the scale, get the blood test, get the measuring tape, I give you $95 credit in any of the smart foods. And all you have to do is just share your story. You tell 4 people in the first 30 days of your enrollment, and I'll credit you back the $95. It's like me giving that back to you. Why would I do that? Because of what Nick said right here. This is why I ask you to do this, so that when you talk to people, people can believe you because you're dealing in fact. No other program out there does that. They just talk about numbers that anyone can argue. And they say when they lost weight, they don't know what kind of weight they lost. Did you know that 83% of the diets out there, over 80%, you lose more muscle mass and hydration than you lose fat when you start a diet. In fact, doctors are becoming so concerned about it that they're telling their patients, because the numbers are coming back to them in studies that have been done, they're telling the patients, just stay where you are. Don't go on another fad diet. Because when you gain the weight back, which you will, because it's not a lifestyle change, because what you lost wasn't fat, it was mostly muscle and water, and you can't maintain that diet for the rest of your life, you're going to gain back the same amount of weight, and usually more, but what you gain back is going to be all fat, and you're not going to get back the muscle and the hydration that you lost. That puts you in a worse physiological state. You're actually in worse shape than you were before the diet. So the doctor is just shaking her head going, just stay where you are. Not because you're so healthy, because I don't want you to get any worse. I don't want to give you any more medication. And that's a sad thing. So please get the scale. Recommend to people that they start out with phase 1. Don't start them on phase 4. And this is why. In the diet, people are having, if they're having a good 3 meals a day, which, ask your friends, a lot of them aren't. If they're not feeling good and they're overweight, they're having 1, maybe 2 meals a day. And so if you get them on phase 4 and they're having, 3 meals a day, and you have them start by just replacing one of their meals, they're going to feel better, but they're only changing their diet by 1/3. The impact is not going to be as great, and it's not going to be as fast. If you want these people to really get the biggest benefit and the fastest, then introduce them to phase 1. They don't have to stay in phase 1. Let them be on it for a week or 2 weeks. You can still use phase 1 in a phase 4 program, the phase 1 products in a phase 4 regimen. They're not going to spend any more for it, but at least it's there for them. Let them engage and let them feel what it's like to really have their body changed. That's why I recommend everybody. I don't care. When I go into a doctor's office and I'm training their staff or a company, and I have someone that's an Ironman, man or woman, and they go on 6 marathons a year, and they're eating what they believe is great, lots of vegetables and fruits, and they haven't seen an ice cream cone since Baskin and Robbins came out. I always start them on phase 1. Always. Because even they will feel a difference. But I want them to get the impression right away, because there's a psychological battle that you're fighting here. They expect to see results. They're holding up this program against all the others that they've ever been on. And if it's a woman and she's in middle age, she's already been on better than 150 diets. Do you know that in America, the average woman will be on 298 diets in her lifetime? That's terrible. And she's failed every one of them. Or should I say, the diet failed her. It wasn't that she didn't have the willpower. It's that the diet wasn't designed to solve the problem, the source of the problem. That's exactly what our program does. That's why you hear me talking about the pancreas, the liver, and the digestion. You see, if we can take care of those 3 major organs, the body will take care of everything else. But I'm going to have a lot better success doing it with 3 meals a day than 1. So start them on phase 1 and make sure they get that starter kit. Nick was right. He said thank you for insisting that you get it. If you're going to start a business, then do it. You got to be able to have bona fide, reliable data like Nick's done. This tool will serve him for years to come. What a great, great testimony. He doesn't have to talk about somebody else. He can talk about himself. You can talk about yourself. And that is always a much stronger message than anybody else's testimony, because they don't know him. So I do that because I appreciate you and I love you. I want you to succeed, both physically and financially. And so this is what we've taught our doctor clinics. This is what we've told the employers that implement a corporate wellness program. You got to be a little bit insisting at first in some issues, like I did with the starter kit and the scale, And so I'm asking you to do that again. Recommit yourself. And if you don't have one, then get one. I'll even reinitiate that. If you've already started and you get the starter kit, I'll still credit you to the 95. All I'm asking you to do, that after you get that scale, just enroll 4 people and I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it by giving you a credit of $95 in Smart Foods. That's fair enough, isn't it? People tomorrow in the office are probably going to look at me strange, like, why do I do these strange things off the cuff? It's because I love you. I want you to succeed. All right, let's shift gears for a second. We talked about the corporate wellness. I'm really excited about that. That's all going to trickle right down to you. When I have that data, I'll be able to move it right over to you and share it with you. And you can tell your friends and family and your business partners that why not do that for small businesses with just 10 employees. At $3.57, they're spending more than that on lunch. And by the way, I did a video that talked about the cost of food. You remember I was talking about the cost of the program and how it really didn't cost, it saves you money. Well, that was based on numbers from 2003, I believe, is from the Census Bureau. Well, now they have new numbers as of 2013, and the costs have gone up substantially. So I'm going to do a new video, but here the basic idea is that the average person in 2003 was spending $12.06 a day on food, snacks, everything that they ate. $12.06. You know what it's up to now? $25 a day. That's the average. Wow, that just makes our program even more cost effective. So I'll shoot a new video, show you those numbers. I think you'll love them. It'll be great. Let's talk about the progress of our brochures and pamphlets. We have, I think I've told you that we've hired multiple artists working simultaneously because our project's so big and so important for you. I'm sparing no cost. I'm not sleeping in my car yet, but I will if I have to get you more brochures. Here is one of the first labels for our Smart Foods that have come out. Those of you that are on webinar, I like the look. I actually like the look better than our medical-based brand. So good colors. I'm showing a picture of our muffins. Shows the calories up here real good, the carbs, the fat, the protein, the ingredients. Great color. A very popular keyword today in these foods is it keto approved, ketogenic certified, and ours is that. It has the sticker right on it, and so I'm kind of excited about that. All of them will have that look to it. That was just one that I wanted to show to you. Really, really promising. Also, where are we at on the point value for the Smart Foods? The good news is the data's been entered. We've got those numbers in, and tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow we're running a test run. So we're running the test run, letting the computer figure out all the commissions, and then just to be safe, you do it too. I'm having accounting go through everyone just manually and make sure that the computer doesn't have a bug and that our manual numbers add up to the computer numbers for the compensation or for the commission. And then if everything flies, we should be able to pay that next week. What? Yes, we'll be able to back pay everything as of the first of the year and have that paid. So I thought that was kind of exciting and good news for those of you that have started to grow the business. Now, I know we're still in pre-launch, and you've been really patient. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Here in the office, that is not a compliment. I get teased about it all the time. And I apologize. I know it makes things longer, but it's just kind of like I told you at the beginning of the webinar. So far we have 30 videos that we're having for you. as tools. No company has ever done what we've done. No company has come out and offered 40 plus products that for you to be able to start your business with. No one has been able to match the compensation plan on the fast start like we have, paying out as much as we do on 3 levels. For heaven's sakes, that's amazing. And then the products that work as well. I mean, traditionally in MLM type businesses, everyone knows that the product isn't very good. You know, it's weak. And so the reason why they sell it in an MLM is because it can't compete with quality products on traditional retail. Well, we've done that for 10 years. I was just concerned that we weren't covering enough people. And there's too many people out there whose lives it needed to be saved. And so we introduced it to you. And so we've done, I know that we're pushing the envelope of your patience because I want to make it more perfect. And so thank you for being there, but it will be worth it. So in the meantime, there's some good business sense to why we've been in the pre-launch as long as we have. Sometimes I know that companies are there for a year in pre-launch. We won't be. Don't worry. We're not going to be there for a year. But I want you to be able to have testimonies. What a great example for you to have testimonies like I've read tonight, and you memorialize your experience and chart your numbers. And then when you tell people, you can tell it from a point of truth and integrity. And so people want to hear your story anyway. They don't want to hear mine. So tell your story. Start over if you need to. And call us in. We'll get you started. It's really simple. I want to cover just a little bit. I had a question tonight or earlier today of why in phase 1, when we set out your starter kit, we put a P22 formula and a P6 in it. And why? Well, the reason is because in our studies, your body is constantly changing. And too many times there's too many mutations that are going on because of what you're eating. And so those changes that you're having occur are not good ones. In fact, they've been able to identify that with every 15 cigarettes smoked, there is a cellular level, a change that goes on, a mutation that goes on, so that when your cells make new cells, there's a change now. The copy that they used to copy from is not the same because it's a mutation. And many of those mutations will spit out as a cancer. And we all know that's not something that we want to have. And so what we're doing is we're doing changes, but we're getting you back to your original form. And we want to do it as fast as possible. We want to catch you soon enough. And so one of the changes that happens when you start the protocol is that you're not digesting all of the proteins that you should be. But that's just because you have not enough digestive enzymes. In each shake, I give you 15 broad-based enzymes, probiotics, prebiotics, to be able to build up that digestive flora. After about 2 weeks, you're strong enough. In fact, you're digesting more proteins than I want you to have. When you're breaking down as many proteins I'm giving you in the P22, it's going to give you a higher level of insulin because your body doesn't need all that protein, doesn't need all those amino acids that it was getting 2 weeks previous because you're digesting more of them now. And so to keep your body from getting an insulin spike, because what happens is your body does a little a call to order. It says, hey, I got all these amino acids. Does any cells or muscle tissue need any more amino acids? And if nobody raises their hand, your body doesn't waste it. It will break it down to a glucose molecule, ask if anybody needs it for glucose, and the body says, no thanks, I'm in ketosis, I'm getting all my energy from my stored fat. And then what will happen is that it'll get an insulin spike. And because it sees glucose that's in the bloodstream that's not being used. So that goes up and it kicks you out of ketosis, or it lowers your level of ketosis. And that can slow down your progress of losing unwanted fat. So I preempt that from happening by automatically putting in the P6. Eventually, I want you on the P3. How do I know if you should go from the P6 to the P3? Not to be a broken record, but I'm going to go back to Nick's testimony. What did he thank? He thanked for us insisting that you get that scale. That's how I know if you go from P6 to P3, or even from P22 to P6. It's because I can measure your muscle mass. If you're not losing muscle mass, then I don't want you to have extra protein, because it will put more stress on your liver and your kidneys than they need to have, and that unused amino acids will create glucose, and the glucose will create insulin, and insulin will kick you out of fat burning mode. We've been doing it long enough that I know that it's going to happen at least in the first 2 weeks from the P22 to the P6. That's why I put it in your starter kit. So stay on the P6. The only time that that's not what I want to have happen is if you're an intense athlete and you need to have extra protein because your regimen is building extra muscle, not maintaining it, building it, but you still need the scale. Just get the darn scale. Or if you're older and you're trying to gain weight, and I guess it's not just age. Anybody, they might be suffering from an injury, or recovering, or they just have, over the years have lost muscle mass. Then I want you to have a little more protein, but you still need the scale to measure how much. I'm not a wizard. I don't know how much you're going to need unless you can tell me the numbers on the scale. I can tell you the averages of what our patients are, but you're not an average. You're a unique individual, and I want to tell you what you need. So get the scale, and hopefully that explained a little bit more of why we give you the P22 and the P6. I want you eventually to be the P3, but we need the scale to be able to tell us where we should be. So I covered a lot of material there. Let me just check my notes real quick and see if there's anything else that I have. Let me turn on the speakers. And can you hear me out there?
We can hear you.
Oh, good. You know,
Jason.
after about 40 minutes, I wonder if people are just sleeping on me or if I'm just talking to thin air.
No, we're here.
Good. All right. As a tradition, let's put it out there for 3 questions. Or if someone would like to give a testimony, then or something that happened, that'd be great too. But is there anybody out there that has a question?
Yes, sir. It's on your screen there. But I know you talked about the brochure. I didn't hear a date roughly that you think might come out.
Oh, you know, when I was raising my daughters, I have 5. I know you can never get a quick, easy answer out of me. I didn't raise any boys. I just raised daughters, and they always were asking, "Daddy, when can we wear makeup? When can we go out on a date? When can we drive in a car?" And I didn't ever want to give them a date. I didn't want. First off, dating, I never wanted them to date. I just wanted to pick out their husband for them, and that didn't work out for any of them. But I know that this is a different setting because, well, you're not my daughters. But it doesn't mean I don't love you. And so the reason why I'm not going to give you a date is because one has not been given to me. Maybe I do have a person here, actually the head of our marketing printed material. I'm looking over at her. If you were to give an estimate of when that brochure, that trifold you're working on, when would that be ready for us to make available? Do you see what I'm doing? I'm passing the buck.
Sometime next week. It's almost done.
All right. For those of you that didn't hear, you sure you want to? Can I put that on the air?
End of next week.
She says the end of next week it will be available. It has been through many revisions. I went through one revision today, and I've been through I don't know how many on this one, and I didn't see any mistakes. I kept on trying to get my picture. There's a guy on there as a model to try to get mine on there, and everybody voted me down. Thanks. And but next week it'll be available. You can now it'll take a little bit longer for you to order the printed version because we're going to have it where you can order them printed and then professionally printed, or you can download it, print it yourself, or you just have a downloaded electronic version of it, and then you can send that out. Okay? So.
Great, thank you, Jason, that was wonderful, I appreciate it, and I tell your person over there that does the printing, we appreciate her efforts too.
She heard you say that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and she says thank you back. All right, any other questions? I will tell you that on the brochures, I'm a kind of a guy that likes to hold something in my hand too, but we can't not ignore studies and surveys. People prefer watching video. It just the attention span. That's what they go to. That's what they want, and so all of the printed material that we will provide you for sales or introduction to the company will also have those same in video form, but even more so in video because it's just what people want. And they're shorter. They can listen to it anywhere. They can listen to it on their phone. They can listen to the audio version. They can download it to their car now through Bluetooth. It's just tremendous. So plan on using the video version in your business model as well. Another question.
I have another question, but I don't want to jump in there if somebody else does.
Well, let's give someone a 3-second chance. Anybody else have a question? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Bob Price again. Second question is about the video, and I think it's excellent what you just said, and I try to turn people on it, but you know how that is. They're the ones got to go to their computer and turn it on and look at it. Is there a DVD that you might produce that would be more professional that we could hand out to people?
I've had that question before, and I would have to. Here's the thing. You all know that I'm 55 years young, but I consider myself a young 55. At least my medical numbers say that I'm young. And I act young, and I work out young, and I feel young. But one thing I do notice is that I cannot tell you the last time I watched, I even used a CD. It's all on, I love music, but I just listen to my tunes on my phone, or I go to Pandora and download it to my truck. The last time I watched something with a CD in my computer was, I bet it's been 3 years, and it's not very normal. So I don't know exactly the answer to that. I don't want to produce a bunch of the DVDs and then not having to even buy them. Maybe what we'll do is we'll offer a downloadable version, and people can burn their own. That's an idea. Or maybe we have some just in stock, small supply, and we have them available. That might be something we could do. We could probably have a small inventory of the videos, and then you could order them from there. That's something. I'm looking over at my marketing. I'm kind of getting a nod, like, yeah, we could definitely try it.
Well, one thing you could do, Jason, is there, if there is one, video that you have on the line that's an introduction of the business and tells more about the nutrition that you gain from it and little things like that. I know you got a lot of great videos out there, but maybe one to start somebody out with, help us turn them on to.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, let us write that down if you would, Callie, and we'll vet that out. Maybe what we'll probably do is we'll have if we're going to do a video, we might as well fill that whole thing up with as much data as we can, right? And then they get to watch whatever they're interested in. So we'll do a short introduction. We'll keep them all really short, and then they'll have maybe 20 different videos on the same thing.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a worthy request. All right. Next question. Anybody?
Anybody have a question? Now's the time.
No one's gonna challenge. Let me tell you, I had. I think I told you months ago that I was personally coaching a man and wife. He is 88 years old. He just turned 89, and his wife is 80. And she came in to lose some weight, and the reason why he came in is because he was. Actually, his son brought him in because he was losing weight quickly. When I first saw him, I think I told you, I'll just refer to him at the letter K, Mr. K. Mr. K came in and his skin was almost translucent. I mean, you could see into it. It was thin like paper and no color, very gray, and his skin just hung on him. And he was about 129 pounds. And 2 years before, he was 165. And not good. Things weren't great. And he had no appetite, wasn't interested in eating. It was just not good. So we started him on the program, same one that you're on. The only difference was is I kept him on Pro P22, except for the last 2 months. So that means that he had been on it for 3 months, P22 for 3 months, and had him have 4 to 5 of the shakes a day, with 5 to 6 pumps per shake. That's the only difference. You're on, if you're on phase 1, 3 shakes a day with 2 pumps, right? And in that time, his colors come all back. His skin has looks like it just, you know how older people and their skin just hanging on them. His skin's smoothed out. His face is filled up. It's got color again. His attitude is entirely different. He just has energy again. He's gained now almost 20 pounds. He's gained a little bit of fat, but he had some fat to lose. He had some fat to gain. He had fat to lose around his visceral fat. Oddly enough, his arms and trunk and core or legs were skinny, and I wanted to put more fat on those parts, but his fat around his organs was high. And so we've lost the fat on his organs and gained fat everywhere else. It's almost like we sculpted this man from clay. It's amazing. It's a miracle. He just came in yesterday, he and his wife. She's lost the weight that he's gained, and they're both just tickled to death. It's such a blessing to see how these people's lives can be changed. So old or young, it doesn't matter. Athletic or stationary, it doesn't matter. We have mothers that are nursing, mothers that are pregnant that are on the protocol. It needs to be a little bit different. They're not for weight loss. You need to up the oil in both situations, and the children will turn out wonderful, and the mother will do great. So please do not be selfish with this message. Share it to everyone that you should. I'm going to check out there with Merv one more time. Merv, any comments or last suggestions?
No, good call. That, he,
You did have one, Jason, a while back, Bob Price again, that, you said that, there was a way to help promote selling, or about getting the product out there, and I forget what you called it, and that you can introduce that later for us.
Yes, yes. What I'm doing is I'm a very practical person, and what he's talking about is what you have. We've really focused a lot on introducing you and educating you on the scientific tools, how to change your body, how to feel great. But you need a way to get it out to the people, and so we have a couple of different programs, a lot of them actually, that we've created. Those will all be backed up by training videos. One is a methodology. It's how you talk to people, and I call it seed selling. It's been proven many times in corporate America. And what I do it in, I use this model when I go into a doctor's office and I try to get a nurse or the counter girl to sell the program to the patients. Well, they're not going to sell it. They don't want to be a salesperson. So we're teaching the seed selling, and they become the best salespeople. They don't feel like they're selling is really the secret. They seed sell, and we'll have that program available to you. It will cost you nothing. It'll all be on video. That means that you'll be able to train all the people that you bring into the business. They'll be master seed sales people, and it will just be an effortless method of sharing the topic. That in itself is a great tool. And then we also have tools how you can be educated on this great thing called the internet, on social media, how you can capture and build a business through these social media efforts. And so that will be introduced through the training videos as well. So those things, really, we are working. Here we are at the office. I mean, we're here at the office working because of the webinar, but we're here this late at night working just to get all this stuff out to you. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for everything that you do, and keep the message going. And I appreciate you, love you all, and wish you the very best. Good night, and be well.
God bless.
good night. God bless you. Good call.